You're watching Public Affairs. Berkowitz is my name, and politics is our game. And we will be doing lots of politics today because we have as our guest Sam Polan, who's running for Congress in the Illinois 9th Congressional District Democratic primary. Sam, what are the key issues? We'll come back. Give it to me straight, 3 or 4.
There's big issues with affordability right now, the economy as a whole, the housing market, but also there's issues with crime, there's education issues, and there's also a lot of national security issues that are not being addressed right now. They're not even being talked about in the forums we're in, and that's something that I care very deeply about because...
The essence, 10 seconds on affordability.
Things are more expensive than they need to be, and people are struggling with the everyday things that they have not been able to, that they've never had this issue with before.
How do you
and
fix
that's supply chain issues.
How do you pick as, don't give me the 20 issues. As a congressman, what can you do about making things more affordable for the people in the 9th Congressional District?
First and foremost, you need to address the supply chain issues. And I think that big problem with that is the tariffs that are in place. They seem arbitrary. Tariffs are a tool when you're discussing economic policy, but those are step 10, not step 1. We treated it as step 1 and we did blanket tariffs across entire nations, which economically makes no sense.
You wouldn't do that.
No.
What would you do in 20 seconds?
I would repeal those tariffs. Congress has the authority to repeal those tariffs, and they have not done that. Congress actually has the authority to repeal
Okay, so
every
all the
executive
tariffs
order.
are repealed. Now what do you do about making things more affordable?
Looking at why they are so expensive. So I know that's a convoluted way of saying it, but like following COVID, we had a lot of issues with supply chain issues.
COVID's over. We don't seem to have as many issues.
But we have supply chain issues, and that's something that's still backtracked and still
think that's still a
backlogged.
major force?
Yes, I do.
How about something Congress can control? Some people said near the end of COVID, they ended up spending, I don't know how many, $1 trillion. That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, not too long ago, the federal government had a budget of $4 trillion. We injected $1 trillion.
Yes.
If we did that, do you think that might have had a great impact on inflation?
I absolutely think it had
Would
an
you have
impact on
opposed
inflation.
it?
I would have.
Okay.
I would have, because also we're having that conversation right now.
So right now you get a handle on spending. You got to
Get a handle on spending.
You got to cut total spending by the federal government, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, we do.
Then moving on, you mentioned something about safety.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do as a congressman about making the 9th CD safer?
We need to let people know that crime will be taken seriously. We need to let people know that we are going to back police departments, back police officers, and actually give prosecutors and law enforcement the teeth they need to keep people off the streets, and judges that don't
if
need
judges
to be.
don't do them, kick them the hell out.
Well,
don't retain them, right?
Right. That's something we can influence the people. Let the public decide that.
They get a chance.
Right. We need to let the public decide that.
And if the state's attorney doesn't perform, you get a chance not to re-elect that state's attorney.
Exactly.
And you got a chance at your bully pulpit to go let the state's attorney of Cook County or of the other counties that are in the 9th CD, those state's attorneys know what you think.
Absolutely.
That's your bully pulpit, right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. People want to look at specific issues on the news or this and that and the other thing, but here's something that we need to be very, very honest about. Overall crime in Chicago is down. Doesn't mean it's not high. Crime on CTA is actually up significantly. And people are nervous taking public transit.
Just recently in the last few weeks,
Yeah.
somebody took, we talk about gun control, somebody took gas that he bought at the gas station, dumped it on a person and lit her on fire.
Right.
So guns are not the entire problem.
Guns are not the entire
because
problem.
that guy had been in and out, I don't know, arrested 70 times. How many times
Something
had
like
been convicted?
something like that.
Nobody gave a damn.
Right.
The judge was presented by the state's attorney of Cook County, and the Cook County judge said, I can't detain everybody. I can put everybody in jail you want to. So she let the person out, let him out, and let him roam because she gave him electronic monitoring. Nobody was monitoring, and a person died. Well, I don't think she died. She's just been burned in a tremendous violent act.
Yep.
She's very, very bad shape.
So you're speaking.
Would you call up that judge and say, "What the hell do you mean? I mean, what can you do to impress upon people that you're not just going to write a letter to the editor?"
Right. You need to let people know that they're being seen, that we understand that this is an issue as a leader, and the fact what you just described is an absolute policy failure. There's no other way to describe it.
We shouldn't have somebody burning people.
Under no circumstance. And the fact, right, and that person should not have been on the streets. Absolutely.
Have you told anybody that before you came in to do the show? The public, your voters. Have you told him that?
No.
But now you're going to.
Now I'm going to tell him.
Okay.
And here's why. Because, I grew up as a Jewish person. I am a Jewish person. I grew up in a Jewish household. And this is something that we're not talking about at all. In the last 2 years, anti-Semitic incidents have gone up 900% in the United States.
Right.
900% isn't a oops. That is a significant event. And that is
some
some
campuses a year or two.
Yeah.
Basically, Hamas and Hamas sympathizers are running them.
And
a lot of these are American citizens who have been, I don't know, brainwashed to think it's okay to be anti-Semitic.
And that's just
in
it.
fact, it's even beneficial.
It's been almost like normalized and accepted to a level that should be insulting to every single American, and also every lawmaker needs to be addressing this actual
You're
issue.
running on that.
Yeah.
They're going to hear from you.
They're going to hear from me on
You're
this.
running on being really pro-Israel.
Yes.
Okay.
I am. I'll tell you kind of a quick story. So I met with a family whose 12-year-old son was bullied so badly at summer camp for being Jewish that he had to go to psychological therapy. He had to go to therapy. He had to be psychologically evaluated. He's now going to a specialized school to help him deal with trauma. The kid is 12 years old. Being
Something
bullied
should
for
have
being
been
Jewish.
done.
Something should have been done.
If you get elected to Congress, you're going to do it.
We need to address.
No, you're going to do it. Yes or no?
Yes.
You're 35.
36.
36.
So yeah.
You're
So
almost an old man.
So I'm an old man for the Army.
You rose to the level of captain. You had 9 years in the military.
Right.
We'll come back to more about that and other stuff you've done, but that's been a key part of your life, right?
Absolutely. It kind of led me on my life path. 9.5 years on active duty. So 5 of those years were Army Special Operations. I deployed 3 separate times. 2 of those deployments were part of Special Warfare Task Groups. So I was actually attached to Navy SEAL teams, and I'm very well versed in how the Middle East works, Middle East politics, and kind of the true complexities of that whole region are something I'm very, very aware of.
Israel, Hamas, you know something about?
I know a lot about Israel, Hamas. I've actually served in Israel with the IDF while I was still in active duty with the U.S. Army. So I actually helped them build out their air defense systems and validate their air defense systems. So I used to be a Patriot operator, and that's, I went over there and helped.
That's their air defense, right?
It's
coming via U.S., right?
Right. It's an American air defense system. They have some as well, but they also have a lot of really great advanced systems that we would work together and make sure that we could coordinate and talk together and make sure our systems could function as a singular unit, just in case we actually had to get in a war where we needed each other's full support.
Okay. They are people say the United States' greatest ally.
Yeah. And
do you agree?
I do.
They are the best ally.
I believe I believe they are a great ally. They are our greatest ally in the region for sure. We are
in the region or the best ally? You're a military guy.
I'm a military guy.
Rank the best allies to the United States. Who's number one?
Right now, I'd say Israel.
Israel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You're pro-Israel, right?
I am pro-Israel.
Unabashedly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are there some phony pro-Israel people who say they're pro-Israel in the 9th CD race?
Yeah, I think there are. I think there are a lot of people who say they're pro-Israel but don't understand or are unwilling to accept the realities of what that actually means.
What does that mean?
It means looking at the problem wholesale and looking at that region, that conflict, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, as more than just something that started on October 7th, as a part of a larger regional conflict that's been going on for generations and is likely not going to end anytime soon. And I know people don't want to hear that, but that's just being realistic about what that situation is.
Wait, the conflict between Israel and Palestinians is not going to end anytime soon?
Well, right now we're in a ceasefire. And I truly, truly hope that holds. But I think the bigger issue at the moment is that it's not just Israel-Palestine. It's Israel-Iran. It's Iran-Saudi Arabia. It's the Emirates-Iran. It's a larger global or regional conflict that really is complicated and really, really nuanced. And it's more than just...
Well, let's cut to the chase.
Sure.
What do you want to happen for Israel? If you're pro-Israel, in a sentence, what do they need?
They need security, they need trustworthy friends, and they need to know that we support the right to exist.
And you support them and support the right to exist unabashedly.
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 Yes.
Daniel Biss, he's one of the top-ranked guys. Does he support that unabashedly?
I can't answer
speak
for
with him.
No, yeah.
But you're in the race.
Right.
You've got a perception. You're entitled.
Right.
Because there's a debate between Dan and you, you'd have a thought.
Yeah.
Give me that thought. Is he unabashedly pro-Israel?
I think I'm a stronger ally to Israel than he is. I think because I support, understanding what their weapon systems are. There's a lot of conversations about offensive versus defensive weapons or what they're allowed to use them for or cutting back aid.
Look, when we went in, the United States and bombed the nuclear capability of Iran,
Right.
either took it out, not, but it certainly delayed it, something. What'd you say when you woke up that day and you saw what happened? Did you say, hey, that's good. We've really cut down. We've certainly impaired the ability of Iran to be a state terrorist and what? And to threaten they're going to wipe Israel off the face of the earth.
Now, and I think that's an important point you just brought up.
Yeah.
And this is really how you have to look at, holistically look at the Israel-Palestinian situation and Israeli security as a whole. They are a small nation that exists, is the only Jewish state, certainly the only Jewish state in that region. And their views of world security are much different than ours. And their views of existential threats are much different than ours. Because as you mentioned, the Iranian doctrine is they will wipe Israel off the face of the map. That extends into Hamas as well. Hamas is a puppet / proxy of Iran. And to think of it as anything other than that is just grossly
We'll come
irresponsible.
back to this, but in some.
Right.
So just now people were saying it wasn't even an Israel-Palestinian war. It was an Israel-Hamas war, right?
Right.
October 7th, that started, right?
Right.
1,200 people slaughtered. They wanted to kill these people. They knew they weren't military and they wanted to. They wanted to rape. I mean, what kind of word fits the word for the behavior of Hamas?
Terrorism.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Back to World War II. Adolf Hitler incarnate. Okay? Any difference between Hamas and Adolf Hitler?
Yes. I think that's a,
There's no difference, right?
no, I think there's.
He wanted to exterminate 6 million Jews. What's the difference? If Hamas could exterminate 6 million Jews, wouldn't they do it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Really?
No, so here's where it gets complicated. Because I believe Hamas is a terrorist organization.
Right.
But I also believe that there is a realistic side of it where that is the government they have in place. And I'm not pro-Hamas government any way, shape, or form.
Realistic side.
Where you have to understand that not everybody that's associated with that wants to wipe off every Jew in the face of the earth. That's what I'm saying. But I do believe that they are a proxy of the Iranian regime.
Right.
And I do believe that they are acting at the behest of the Iranians. That's what I believe.
They are in large part of the people who are managing that effort.
Right.
They would like to join Iran in wiping Israel off the face of the earth. You're saying there are some people in Hamas who don't want to do that.
I'm sure there are, but what I'm really, the crux of the issue though is it's an Israel-Hamas conflict is what you said and what you mentioned, and it's correct. Israel's not at war with the Palestinian people, and then I will say outright that any Western nation fighting any conflict needs to do everything it physically can within its powers, within its natural capabilities to minimize civilian casualties. That is something that needs to happen. I don't care if it's Israel-Hamas. That is a responsibility.
Casualties
I believe
civilians.
I believe they are, but I'll say this.
Yeah.
And this is any nation, any Western nation, including the United States. You can always do better. And I won't say.
Well, it's a risk. It's a risk.
It's a risk.
You're trying to say. I think. Well, what do you mean when you say when you say always can do better? What kind of risk balance is Israel doing? You know that this is right in your wheelhouse. You know so much more about military and acting strategically than I'll ever know.
Yeah.
And that most people who you encounter in the ninth will know. So you tell me.
Any unwarranted civilian death is a tragedy. And I think that's the perspective you have to have.
Any civilian.
Any civilian.
But some people are going to be killed. And if you adopt the policy, you'll do anything to avoid any.
No,
you're sacrificing a lot of
100%.
Israeli lives, right?
100%. And here's the issue. This is my wheelhouse. Urban warfare is complicated. It's dirty. It's complex. The fog of war is very real in that situation.
Okay.
It's difficult. Civilians will die in warfare. That is just a reality. It's a horrific reality, but it is a reality. But I believe, especially coming from my position in the military, as a special operator, as a civil affairs officer, the forefront of your mind always has to be protecting people, protecting civilians, protecting the people who cannot protect themselves. That is a hard, fast rule for me. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but that's something that always has to be in the forefront of your mind. And I recognize the realities of modern combat, and I recognize the complexity of modern combat. It's unrealistic and impossible to say that no civilians will be killed. I fully recognize that. But you still have to always plan and view the issue as if civilian casualties are not acceptable to you.
You think you can win?
I do.
So you're telling people, vote for me and you can win, right?
I can win, and here's why I can win, because I think people are ready for people who are willing to be honest and have a reasonable conversation, and someone who's actually worked in the government and understands how the government works and understands how things can actually get pushed through. I think people are ready for reasonable adults to be back in the room who are willing to be honest about what's happening in this country, what's happening in the district, and have realistic conversations about what can be done. This whole us versus them thing, we can't keep doing that. We need people who are willing to recognize the situation as it is, work with people who you may disagree with on some stuff, but if there's things you can agree on, you have to talk to those people and you have to govern with them.
You come back?
I will absolutely come back.
And you come back next week and every week to Public Affairs.